And I never saw this day running around these halls as a child. I never saw you and I sitting here, and I'm a grown man, and Mark over there. You couldn't tell me that this would happen. And if you did, I would be like, what are you talking about?
Right,
You know?
right.
What was your first impression of Miss Kemie?
I was cautious. You know, we didn't have too many white. We didn't have any. I never had. She was the only white teacher I had in till high school. So I was like, okay, so she's here. What does she want? You know.
Right.
So I was reserved at first, but then she started to talk, and when she talked, the whole world opened up and got quiet, and then she took you on a journey. You know, it's kind of like when T.S. Eliot says in the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, "Do not ask what is it. Come, let us make our visit." You know, like a patient etherized upon the table. That's how it works, and she loaded you with words, and it was a beautiful thing. And like I said, you know, the way she described the characters, the way she would tell the story, you know, she would pause and look for response. So she was very kind, caring, and patient, and that meant everything. And it went on from there. Finn McCool, Irish folklore. Remember that? And Paul Bunyan and Pecos Bill. Remember that? Yeah. So we would read all those books, and it was a wonderful experience.
What did you ever doubt? Did you ever doubt that your work was worth it, or were you confident? And if so, why?
Well, of course I doubted it. I persisted despite my doubts. And when I was driving into Cook in the beginning, I sang out loud. I sang, "Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work's in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again." I sang that to give me courage to keep doing what I was doing.
How did you reconnect?
Facebook.
Right.
June 26, 2017. I said, "Miss Nix, how are you? Do you remember me?" He's like, "Absolutely, I remember you." And Miss Nix loves you too. I'm delighted to reconnect with you. I'm also delighted that you remember Greek mythology. I hope that you are well and happy. You were a precious little boy.
A teacher is fortunate if in their old age, you know, students reach out. And that's the good side of Facebook. I've reconnected with a lot of students, which I get to look at their children's pictures. You know, I guess they're my grand students. It means that my life work was worthwhile.
Yes.
And he represents not only himself, but the other children.
Yes. Yes, it's a collective.
Yes. Well, life is cumulative. And Mother Teresa was right. You can't do any great thing. She said, "I can't do great things. I can only do small things with great love."
Wow.
So life is cumulative, and if you do the small things and you persist, then you end up with a grown student who loves you.
Yes.
The interesting thing to me about reconnecting 30 years later is that time disappears. You know,
It does.
that your face is higher up and you're a lot bigger,
A lot bigger.
but you're the same person.
That play.
And the time is a very strange element, because when we reconnected, it doesn't matter. Time doesn't count.
It doesn't. Here we are.
Yes.
You know, and we can't go back, but we can go forward. We can enjoy the now. So
Yes.
let's bask in the now.
Okay.
Let's do the now.
Bask in the now.
Somewhere hidden between what was and what was to be, beneath Avalon's golden dome, along its paved roads, summer heat and flashing signals, The silent stares of nameless men clad in sports coats of tweed, white shirts, and briefcases, matching ties, watches to remind them of how much time is wasted. There, in the arms of a city, not as swift as her name, and yet as majestic and mysterious, her new patrons with darkened hues, visions of a better tomorrow, free of disdain. Where there is knowledge, there is sanctuary. So as we gather in Cook's hollowed halls with aged wood, whose floors and heavy doors told the story of the New Deal, 1965, and a bright-eyed third grader, 1 minute there, monotony, and then wonderment appeared. She had an assured smile. She looked at us lovingly with promise and with grace. She filled our days with words. Gathered in circles, we sat at her feet. Her blonde hair almost fairy-made. I never understood what fears existed outside those sacred halls. I fell in love with the words she read, the stories of distant Asian shores, gods and men, winged horses, golden apples. Almost like Prometheus, she lit a fire in my soul that burns to this day. In this village, we saw America, not yet experienced. How could it be? And yet outside of that room were city streets and crime-infested corners, cachets of hopelessness underneath forced smiles, religion, arguments, drama, stress, dreams deferred, death. The rulers of Avalon ignored us. There was no Arthur, no Maynard, too soon. Just Miss Kemie Nix, with book in hand, love in her heart, and surely what mattered at her feet. Children, eager, attentive, intrigued, and love. She confirmed the promise of what is good in all of us, if love wakes you each day.